So as I've gone about meeting friends of Fanny, of whom there are many around the world, I've discovered that many of them feel they have a kind of personal relationship with her. And I think that's because she internalized this dilemma, this struggle that many of us still feel today between what was essentially an accepted rule that creativity, brilliance, the capricious whim of the genius was only a thing that men have. You know, there was a property of particular kinds of men, and her own unstoppable urge to create. And I think, you know, that idea that your play, your possible inspiration, the thing that may or may not come for a week or a month, is more important than raising a family or keeping the fridge stocked or looking after your husband. Very hard for women to insist on, even now, to insist on that very selfish desire to concentrate on their own creativity and on themselves. So I think that's one of the reasons why people love her so much and why people feel so empathetic with her even now. And as to her music, well, I mean, her music is wonderful. And I kind of, sometimes when I read the way she writes about it, I want to shake her. And then I remember I can't because she's dead. But, you know, she wrote this extraordinary piano cycle called Das Jahr, which is just a tour de force. It's an hour of very, very complicated and difficult piano music, which is all thematically and harmonically and connected. And 12 very beautiful pieces for the piano that were lost until 1988 and actually only found wrapped up in newspaper by pure accident. And she never published them and she never wrote about them publicly. And she just wrote one letter to somebody in which she says, oh, I'm writing these little piano pieces. I'm just amusing myself with them. Probably won't come to anything. But, you know, that's the great thing about being a dilettante, that nobody ever has to see your music and you don't have to trouble the world with it. And you think, really, you know, this is a genius. And I think it's interesting to hear her choral works as well. I mean, I don't know them so well, and I'm really looking forward to hearing them and seeing them at the concert. But, you know, choral works are important because they were one of the very few kinds of music for more than one person that she could actually write, that there was any point in her writing, because she could only write things really for the forces that she could mass in her own home. And although her home was large, it wasn't large enough to contain an entire symphony orchestra and a big chorus. So she never bothered, or she never even aspired to write really large works. But the works she did write for chorus were as ambitious as she could get, and very ambitious in lots of different ways, as you will have discovered. So she did absolutely make the most of the resources that she had at her disposal. And she was merciless. I mean, she chose the best singers and she rehearsed them, and would take nothing less than their absolute best. And they all wanted to give it to her because they could tell how brilliant she was.